Hi, this is Michael Collins Piper coming to you from the Washington, D.C. headquarters of American Free Press, the national weekly newspaper published on Capitol Hill. You, of course, can find the website of American Free Press at americanfreepress.net. Now, if you've been following American Free Press, either in its print edition or here online, you have certainly, I hope, read some of the reports that I have done for American Free Press about this phenomenon that is being foisted upon the American people, an attempt to set up a centrist, so-called centrist third party. The people behind this attempt to set up a third party are some of the most powerful international forces at work in the world today, notably elements of the Rothschild banking empire based in London. Now, a lot of people are confounded by the idea that the third party effort would be bankrolled by the Rothschild elements and by their connected forces in their sphere of influence here on American soil. People say, well, isn't it true that the Democrats and the Republicans are now both controlled by the Rothschild empire? Well, yes. To a great extent, that is absolutely true, but needless to say, both the Democratic and Republican parties have grassroots constituencies to which they do have to maintain some sense of responsibility. Despite the vast power that the Rothschilds and their shills in the major newspapers and televisions have on the political process in this country, the fact is that we still do have a voting system, and the two parties do, as they exist now, provide an outlet to a variety of interest groups, grassroots elements, minorities, labor unions, etc. This, I believe, is probably one of the primary reasons that the powers that be are so determined to set up an independent, supposedly independent third party in this country. And their efforts are underway even as I speak. Here at AmericanFreePress.net and on my own regular independent podcast at michaelcollinspiper.podbean.com, I have talked about this phenomenon and tried to bring it to the attention of the American people, but I have been disappointed to see that even many independent voices in the Patriot movement seem to be ignoring my warnings. And they do so at their own peril, because right now there is a Rothschild-funded group known as Americans Elect that is actively setting up a third party for the 2012 presidential election. Now, here at American Free Press, we're all in favor of third parties challenging the Democrats and Republicans. And I'm here to tell you that there are also in existence right now some viable third parties. They have a variety of differences. But here we have the Reform Party. We have the Green Party. We have the Constitution Party. They already exist. We have the Libertarian Party. But yet the mass media is promoting this third centrist independent movement. The Washington Post and New York Times have regularly lent their support to it, and now this Americans Elect has some $20 million in their campaign war chest. They're on the ballot already at this point in roughly 7 states, and they are at work in many, many more states. Just recently, the Washington Post featured an op-ed commentary by one writer who suggested that billionaires should come to the rescue of America and further bankroll Americans Elect, and that perhaps some patriotic, as he put it, patriotic American billionaire should step forward and lead the third-party movement and bankroll it with his own fortune. Now, when they use the term patriotic, they don't mean patriotic in the sense that most grassroots Americans mean it. No, they are talking here about an internationalist, so-called centrist movement, and it's one that is going to be under their control. Make no mistake about it. This is what they're up to, folks. And all you need to do to see the evidence of it is check out Americans Elect on the internet. Look at the people who are on its board of advisors. I've done it myself. You can do it too. There are no less than, from what I can see, 13 members of the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations on the board of advisors of this group called Americans Elect. One of them is Lady Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. She lives in London, spends a lot of time in New York though. She's a lifelong Democrat. But here she is supporting a third-party movement. And don't write off Lady de Rothschild as just some low-level member of the American elite who married into the Rothschild family. She is the wife of Sir Evelyn de Rothschild of London, and she is the CEO of one of the major Rothschild holding companies. So this is a lady with a lot of money and a lot of influence. Also on the board is a Peter Ackerman. Peter Ackerman, another Council on Foreign Relations member. He's installed his son, Elliot Ackerman, as the CEO of Americans Elect. Well, Peter Ackerman was a junk bond king operating alongside Michael Milken in the 1980s. And you have Doug Schoen, a longtime Democratic Party political consultant, devoted to the Democratic Party, but he today is on the board of advisors of Americans Elect. And over the past year, he, among others, strongly identified with the traditional Democratic Party, have been among those who have been saying that we need a third party in this country, and in fact a third party to oust Barack Obama from the White House. That's what Linda Rothschild says as well. This may confuse you. Linda Rothschild was a lifelong Democrat. She backed Hillary Clinton over Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential primaries. But since that time, she subsequently backed John McCain over Barack Obama in 2008 and has written op-ed pieces calling for the ouster of Barack Obama. Now, this puzzles people. They say, well, wait a minute. Isn't Barack Obama a tool of the Rothschilds? Isn't he part of their mechanism of control? Well, you know, in a sense, every American politician is. But it appears as though Lady Rothschild and Doug Schoen and some of these others have determined for their own reasons, which are beyond even my comprehension, they have determined that Barack Obama should not be permitted to remain in the White House. And consequently, they are setting the stage to set up a third-party operation in 2012 to defeat not only Barack Obama, but any potential nominee of the Republican Party who does not share their concerns, that is, their financial interests, their devotion to the maintenance of the Federal Reserve System and the controlled economy that comes with it. That money machine that generates the billions of dollars they use to dominate the American media complex. Could it be that they're concerned that Ron Paul is now running number 3 in the Gallup polls, running behind Rick Perry, Mitt Romney, and even ahead of Michelle Bachmann? Something to speculate upon, but the fact is these third-party so-called independent forces are putting up big money and using their influence in the media to promote this concept. Now, I've done everything I can at michaelcollinspiper.podbean.com and here at AmericanFreePress.net to try to alert Americans to what's going on. I can't do it alone. Neither can American Free Press. That's why it's your job to help spread this video, to help alert people to the articles that have been appearing in American Free Press and on the website of American Free Press at AmericanFreePress.net, to let people know what is going on, because I guarantee you, when they unveil this third-party movement, there's going to be a lot of good people in this country who are going to say, at last, we have an alternative to the Democrats and the Republicans. But folks, this is a very scary alternative that we don't want. We do need a third-party challenge to the two-party monopoly, but not one that's controlled by the same people who have dominated the Republicans and the Democrats for the last half century. The people who've gotten us into these needless wars in the Middle East. These people who control the Federal Reserve System. These people who bankrupted America. No, we do need an alternative. You're right. I agree. But not this kind of alternative, because this is not an alternative. It's being very cleverly masked as some sort of effort to break partisan gridlock, to bring centrist reform to America, to put an end to the partisan squabbles. But folks, no, this is just a very, very clever scam, and a well-funded one at that. So I'm urging you to help get this video in circulation. Get people to understand what's really going on here. Think beyond the box. Don't get wrapped up in the rhetoric of right and left, Republican and Democrat. This is not a conspiracy theory I'm talking about here. This is actually taking place. Groups like Americans Elect and No Labels, which have interlocking directorates, which are connected behind the scenes, all tied in turn to very highly placed and powerful financial interests. They have a very real agenda at work here, folks. And I'm trying to bring you the information you need. So I'm just asking you, do what you can to get the word out. And do it before it's too late.